Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is another episode of the Pod of Aggieland, starring your host, yours truly, Chase Lane, number 2 in the field, number 1 in y'all's hearts. It feels like I haven't done this show in forever just because we're coming off of a bye week. So, I'm really happy to be back on the show and, just talking about what I want to talk about. So, as always, we're going to start the show with the weekly quote of the day. So, for this week, the quote is, be proud of yourself. Be proud that your heart and intentions are good. Be proud of the fact that you are trying. When you feel insecure or like you don't measure up, remind yourself how far you've come. So I'm going to say that again. Be proud of yourself. Be proud that your heart and intentions are good. Be proud of the fact that you are trying. When you feel insecure or like you don't measure up, remind yourself of how far you've come. And man, I think that just dials back in and you can kind of just relate that to like what I always talk about and just celebrating those small victories and, just setting those attainable goals, man. And I feel like sometimes we just get so caught up in this race of life and this marathon of life. And, we get swamped and we get swarmed by all the things that are thrown at us at once. And we just don't really take a second to just like take a step back and, just really just appreciate what we've done. Show grace for ourselves, that I always talk about, and just really taking the time to realize the growth and the success that we have accomplished over just amount of time. So I know if you're a person like me, I feel like I'm a person who is can be hard on themselves at times, just because I expect so much out of myself, and I feel like that's a good quality to have. To a certain extent, because at times I feel like you do need to hold yourself accountable. And, when you feel like you set these goals and you don't reach them the way you feel like you need to be reaching them at the time limit, you feel like you should be reaching them, you can feel like that you aren't measuring up to people who are like you and in the same field as you. And as always, my quotes can resonate with people athletically, academically, professionally, in the relationships. I always like to give quotes that can resonate with a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. So, so when you feel insecure, like you don't measure up, just have that reminder to yourself of just how far you've come. Because the one thing I always try to think of is that one day in the past, you were praying about being where you are now. And I think sometimes that concept goes over our heads as human beings. And sometimes we just have to remind ourselves that, like, hey, like, you're human. You're growing at your own pace, and you can't put a timetable on anything, because in life, like I always say, life throws you curveballs, and it's really just about how you respond to those curveballs. So, yeah. So that's the quote. Really hope that resonates with you guys in some type of way. But just try to stay proud of yourself. So moving forward, we all know the importance of home field advantage in college football. This is especially true for us Aggies at Kyle Field. Kyle Field is such a hostile environment for people to come into, and I'm so blessed to just have the fans and to have the 12th man and to have the Aggies on our side when we go into battle every week at home. And they do so much for our confidence and to get us ready to play in those games. However, home field advantage goes way beyond the football field, and that's where the Hudson team comes into play. The Hudson team is the number 1 ranked real estate group on Zillow in the Bryan-College Station area based on sales volume and number of transactions done each year. And when you work with the Hudson team, you're working with all former students at Texas A&M. They can help with any and all real estate needs, but especially love helping Aggies find their very own home field advantage. They love to help people buy or sell property in the Bryan-College Station area or the Austin area, as they have expanded there all this year. To get started, contact our friend Alexis Knox from the Hudson team. You can reach her at 281-745-0010. That's 281-745-0010. You can also find her on all social media platforms at Alexis Knox Realtor or her website, alexisknoxre.com. Huge shout out to them for supporting the podcast. Thank you guys. Man, a very eventful week in college football. Man, just really some college football classics from across the board, man. Some upsets, some heartbreaks, and, just being on a bye week, I really got to feel like I was a kid again, just waking up, watching College Game Day, watching the picks, not really having to mentally prepare for a game and, emotionally prepared for a game, but, just really just chilling and this being a fan again. And it was such a good feeling because, that's what we all love about college football is just being able to enjoy it thoroughly. So, just for starters, we all talk about the Alabama versus Tennessee. And I told my family before the game that I had Tennessee win in that game. They're playing in Knoxville. They're in Rocky Top. That's a very hostile environment. I played there. I didn't realize that they were number 6 in the country. And they definitely proved why they were a top 10 team. And they proved why they are going to be a top 5, if not a top 4 team. So kudos to Tennessee for getting the job done. Just some mistakes that you just wish you don't have in the game that we've seen from our season thus far. Alabama had those mistakes. And, I really feel for Bryce Young, man. He needs some help, man. And I'm not saying that those guys on offense I'm not saying Alabama doesn't have those playmakers on offense that can help Bryce Young. But, I just think it's got to click at a certain point. It's got to click for them. But, Bryce Young, his first game back, he looked pretty good. Jahmyr Gibbs, he looked great as always, as he's looked this entire season. Had a crucial drop on their last drive offensively. Tennessee, they look really good. I didn't realize their quarterback, he was in my old quarterback's, Kellen Mond's class. So that just goes to show how experienced he is and just how poised he is in those types of games. But, experience and just having that to your resume that you've been there before can go such a long way. So kudos to Tennessee. Kudos to Josh Heupel, who came to that program 2 years ago and turned it around like that. So, I know that everyone down there in Knoxville, they rally around their team similar to how the Aggies rally around us. So I know it was really fun times for them. They were playing Dixieland Delight in the stadium after they stormed the field. So, that's what we love about college football. And I was so glad I was able to just watch that game and really just, just embrace it and just be a fan again. So, it was a great game. So moving forward, Michigan took care of Penn State. And, man, that's like with Michigan, like they have the players and I believe they have the coaching and, every year that, they look pretty good every year, but I just want to see them finish, man. And, they're always ranked in the top 5 and the top 10 and they have all these good classes and everything, but I don't want to get too much on their bandwagon. So like right now, I still feel like it's too early, but they beat a quality opponent in Penn State and they took care of them. So kudos to Michigan. I don't really have a lot to say about them, but I just want them to just keep winning every week and to see where it goes from there. Moving forward, Utah took USC down to the wire and then came out on top in a very thrilling game, man. I know that Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, they were dealing with a lot of negative attention and, just because how Lincoln left OU and, how Caleb left OU after the Alamo Bowl game. But I wanted to see them succeed. I really did because I do think Lincoln Riley is a great coach. I think Caleb Williams is a phenomenal football player. And then when you add in Mario Williams and Jordan Addison, the Pittsburgh transfer, I feel like they had a really good team offensively. But, Utah, these last 2 years, they've shown that they are a really good team. And you can really tell that they play for each other. They're an older group. So, those are guys that have bought into the system and have really grasped the concept of team and, playing for each other. And, they're playing at home too. So that just adds more to them. But I'm kind of like, damn, that USC lost because I did want them to make a push. And then, always, if you're a fan of college football, you understand the history of USC football and, just how important they are to college football history. So I wanted to see USC come out on top of that one, but at the end of the day, I'm just glad that it was a fun game, and just added to the craziness of college football that we got this past weekend. Now, coming back to the state of Texas, TCU somehow came back and took care of Oklahoma State in double overtime. And man, I said it before, but mind you, Oklahoma State is a great team. In all three phases of the game. Was number 8 in the country. So they're not no joke. They're not a fluke. Have a very experienced quarterback in Spencer Sanders, who played great at times yesterday. But man, TCU and Sonny Dykes got those guys rolling over there. And I don't know what it is about Coach Dykes, but he's a great coach. And it just seems like, I know he had his shortcomings at Cal, but it just seems that ever since he got to SMU, because remember he had SMU as a top 20 team at one point when he got there, and then when he just comes over in year one at TCU, they're 6-0. I didn't see where they are on the rankings, but I know in that game they were number 13 in the country, and they were down double-digit points in that game against a really good football team. And, they stayed the course. They stayed down. They kept grinding, and they came out on top. And, man, Max Duggan has done a tremendous job of, taking over the realm at quarterback, because I remember Coach Dyke said it in an interview earlier in the season. Max Duggan, he's a fifth-year guy, lost the starting job to Chandler Morris. And Coach Dyke said, like, instead of pouting, instead of quitting on the team, he just came to work every day, just continue to be a great teammate and a great leader in that locker room. And then, as I always say, life happens. Chandler Morris got hurt, unfortunately, and Max Duggan came in. He was ready for his moment. So I really am liking what I've seen from him. He's done a really good job of, just being a great quarterback for them, making plays, playing without any fear, just going out there and just having fun. And, if you know college football right now, Quinn Johnson, man, he's a tremendous wide receiver for them. He's been making plays all year for them. I know the beginning of the year didn't really start the way he wanted to, but now it's really starting to seem like he's catching on, man. And, he's such a big play threat for them, and he showed up yesterday for sure. So, kudos to TCU and kudos to Oklahoma State for just another college football classic. And, just being from Texas and, being a football player, when I was coming up, TCU was a team that we always watched, because I think back to the Trayvon Boykin days when he was at TCU, and Josh Dotson and Kobe Listenby and guys like that. And at one point, I think in 2014 or something like that, TCU was like number 3 in the country. So, just being a football player from the state of Texas, I've always admired TCU and their program from afar. And they really showed up yesterday, and just kudos to both teams for making just a tremendous football game for the fans, for me, the fan, finally. So so kudos to TCU, man. Moving on, lastly, we got Kentucky over Mississippi State. Man, I don't know if I'm gonna catch any flack for this, but like, even though Mississippi State like kicked our ass, and I'm upset about it, obviously, but I like some of those guys over there on that team. I feel like they have good ball players, and at that, they have good quality young men. Because after the game, they, when they beat us, they showed respect. I talked to Will after the game. I talked to Forbes, one of their DBs who had to pick 6 against us. Talked to some other guys from Houston, Marcus Banks, Jalen Green. And those guys, they're like really good people, like off the field. So maybe that's why I root for them, and I want to see them do good, because they have good guys over there on that sideline. And then Mike Leach, he's a controversial head coach. If you like him, you like him. If you don't like him, you don't like him. But have always been a fan of his system and his attack on offense. So, watching, I always kind of go back to just growing up and watching football. But, I don't know. I think I was like in the 7th or 8th grade when Dak Prescott was at Mississippi State, and they were the number 1 team in the country. And it was odd to see Mississippi State as the number one team in the country, but it was also fun, like, to see a team other than like Alabama, Clemson, those typical teams. But yeah, I wanted to see them just continue to win and to see what happens, because I was looking forward to that Mississippi State Alabama game and what was going to happen in that one. But yeah, Kentucky, they're a good team. I think one of the Stoops brothers is the head coach there, if I'm not mistaken. But they were playing at home. Home field advantage is so crucial in the SEC, and they can play so much to your favor. So Kentucky got the job done, but hopefully Mississippi State can regroup and just finish the season how they want to finish the season. So yeah, so it's kind of a blessing in a way. We had a bye week, and usually when I would have to be preparing for a game mentally and not really watching the games going on across the country, I was able to just sit back, relax on my couch, watch the games, enjoy it like a fan. I hung out with my friends this weekend. I just felt like just a college football fan again. So I'm really happy I got to be a part of it in that space and from that perspective. But yeah, so like I said, we had a bye week. Had a great time, actually, man. I didn't go anywhere. I stayed in town. I usually go back to Houston, or I go to Dallas or somewhere. But my girlfriend and I, we just decided to stay in town. So Friday, let me start with Thursday. So on bye weeks, we usually practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right? So I'm finishing up a homework assignment on Thursday around like 1:15, 1:20, something like that. And I get a code maroon text. It's like a school-wide text that you get from the school. And it says, Kyle Field bomb threat. Evacuate the area. And I'm reading, I'm like, bomb threat. So I'm like, what? Like, what the hell is going on, man? And so, after that, everyone's sending it in our group messages. Like, we got practice. Like, what's the deal? And I wasn't at the facility, but there were some guys at the facility, and they were like sending videos to like our group chats, and they were just literally just all standing in the parking lot, and everybody was just like, what's the deal? Because, it's a bye week. So, guys are ready to just go home. But, we were supposed to practice at 2:30, like on the field at 2:30. So, how, I hate how they do it, but they didn't send us a notification saying practice was canceled until like 2:25, just to keep us on the edge of our seats. But I didn't even leave the house because I was like, look, it says evacuate the area, so I'm not going up there. So until I get a notification saying the area has been cleared and the bomb threat is done, then I wasn't leaving my house. But it could have been a fan. It could have been anybody. It could have been serious. So, that's not something that you want to play with ever. So I'm glad that our team and our coaches handled it the right way. And, we got to get an extra day off. And, so Thursday, just got to chill out. Went to dinner, was watching TV, just doing just normal things. Took my dog on a walk, as I always do when I get some free time. Friday, we went to Big Shots. It's like our version of Top Golf if you live in College Station. So we went to Big Shots. It was me, Damani, Brian Williams, safety who has medically retired, Jalen Preston, and Jalen Wademeyer was actually in town. So they came by. We all went to Big Shots. We spent some time there. I actually played golf, so I was kicking ass the whole time. It was me and Damani really just going back and forth. The rest of the guys don't really know how to hit a golf ball. So don't want to call them out specifically, but just want to say that I am probably the closest thing to Tiger Woods on my football team. But moving on, just got to spend some time with my friends and outside of football, and just really good time, just good laughs and just good company with each other. On Saturday, we actually had a NIL signing event at the warehouse at CC Creations that I talked about last week. And we had a lot of fans come out. It was 14 of us, 14 of my teammates, and we had a really good time, man. Just interacting with the fans, taking pictures. We have food, we have music. It made me feel special just to be a part of something like that. And this was my second year doing it, actually. And it's always fun in the warehouse. They have great people over there, man. who run the whole thing, and it's run so top notch, and it was a great event, man. So my girlfriend, she actually went with me, so it was fun to have her there, just experience that with me as well. Yeah, and then Sunday, just chilling. NFL day, so got to kick back and watch some NFL games as I usually do. About to watch the Cowboys, man. So this episode comes out Monday. So I recorded on Sunday, if you don't know. And the Dallas Cowboys, we have the Philadelphia Eagles tonight, Sunday primetime up in Philly. So hopefully we can walk out of there with a dub. We got Cooper Rush starting tonight, and it's go time, man. So let's ride. We're trying to be 5-1. The NFC East is really looking good this year, man. So it's going to come down to the wire. You got the Giants who won the day, beat a really good Ravens team, and they're 5-1. Eagles are 5-0, and we're 4-1. So it's going to be a race to the end. But as always, man, we're America's team, and we're going to win the East, man. So let's hopefully walk out of there with a dub. And that's what we need, man. So if we walk out of there with a dub, I'm going to be talking a lot of trash on Wednesday. So just want you guys to know that in advance, man. But, finally, just to wrap things up with my football team and just how we're feeling after the bye week. I feel like everyone feels refreshed. You know how I always say it's always good to get that time away from the sport. It's kind of just clear your head mentally and see loved ones and catch up on your sleep, catch up on your academics, and just take care of the things that you wouldn't necessarily have time to do during just a week of preparation for a game. So I feel like the guys do feel refreshed. How do we flip the switch after a bye week, considering the fact that we are 3-3? It's hard, man, and with a young team, it's kind of hard when you are put in these tough situations that you did not see yourself being in at the start of the season. So I think for us, it's really just coming out and it starts on Monday with how we practice and the urgency and the attention to detail that we practice with. So I know it's kind of hard, like I say, for the young guys, but for a guy like me who has been there for a while, the seasons are so long, man, and so much can happen just from, because mind you, if we would have beat Alabama, if we would have scored on that final drive, and then if Alabama would have came back and lost against Tennessee like they did, and if Mississippi State lost to Kentucky like they did, man, the SEC West standings are crazy. Like, think about it. So anything can happen in college football, man. And if we win out, like I believe we have the potential to do so, we can finish the season 9-3, and that's still a pretty good record, and we can still probably get a really good ball game out of that. So, just letting the guys know, man, just to stay down, stay ready, just continuing to just knock wood every day, chop wood every day, and just stay to the process. And when you look up at the end, you might be exactly where you wanted to be. So. I think that's what it's all about, and like I said, it just starts with how we approach practice on Monday, because we have a quality opponent in South Carolina on the road, 6:30 game. It's going to be a hostile environment for us. They have a new team that we haven't really seen in the last couple of years. So and we've had their number for the last couple of years. So I know that they're going to want to make a statement on us. And but hey, we're looking to make a statement on them. So I'll have some more on South Carolina on my Thursday episode. But as always, I have appreciated doing this. Appreciate you guys continuing to show support in the pod, man. So this has been another great episode of the Pod of Aggieland, starring your host, yours truly, Chase Lane. And go Cowboys. So I'll be back hopefully with a Cowboys dub on Thursday. Peace.